President Trump has reportedly blocked proposed Israeli airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites. The New York Times says Israel had planned to launch those strikes as early as next month. However, the president decided not to back the move in order to focus instead on negotiations with Tehran. Now, this report comes as the U.S. and Iran prepare to hold a second round of high-stakes talks in Rome this weekend to discuss the country's nuclear program. For more on all of this, let's bring in Matthew Bunn now. He's a professor of the practice of energy, national security, and foreign policy at the Harvard Kennedy School. Thanks for being with us, Professor. First, I want to get your
Good
sense
to be with you this morning.
of what you make of that news, that report out of the New York Times that Trump wanted to stop Israel from a launch on Iran.
Well, President Trump has been making clear for a while now that he thinks we need a nuclear deal with Iran to limit the dangers of its program, or we're going to have to move to military action. And he did make it clear already that he preferred the diplomatic track, at least as the first step.
And what do we know about the state of Iran's nuclear program and why it wants to engage in these talks?
Well, Iran is under very serious sanctions that are causing inflation, decline of its currency, and so on over its nuclear program. Its nuclear program has advanced to the point now where it's right on the edge of a nuclear weapons capability. They could produce enough material for several nuclear bombs in a matter of a week or two, and then it would take them some time after that to turn that material into actual nuclear weapons. There's some debate as to whether that's months or a year or more than a year, but it's some significant time after that. But once the material's produced, they could take it anywhere to some secret facility, and the military options for stopping them would be much reduced.
And as you mentioned, a potential secret facility, I guess that underscores the importance of this next question. Yesterday, the head of the UN's nuclear program arrived in Tehran for meetings. In general, how important will it be that the IAEA be in agreement with what happens next?
So there's been a complicated dispute between the International Atomic Energy Agency and Iran over particles of uranium that the agency found at undeclared sites that are left over from Iran's past nuclear weapons program 20 plus years ago. But what's going to be crucial in a nuclear deal is making sure that it keeps Iran a distance away from nuclear weapons and that there's strong monitoring to make sure that remains the case.
All right, Professor Matthew Bunn, we appreciate your insight and for joining us this morning from Watertown, Massachusetts.
All right. Thank you very much.